Hey, friends. April Woodcock here with Touching Clients. I hope that you are well. We're on Wednesday. I am located in Voluntown, Connecticut, and I'm really excited because, it's going to be a warm day here. We had lots of ice this morning, but I don't know about you, but I'm ready to spring ahead this Sunday. So just some housekeeping. We are live streaming here to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Today's presentation is in partnership with Constant Contact, and I'm really excited to be talking about digital marketing trends for nonprofits. We're going to talk about smartphones, social, email, and text, and kind of how they all work together. Feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and there will be, because this is a Constant Contact presentation, I do want to let you know. Hey, Jeanette, want to let you know that there will be an offer for Constant Contact at the end. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and we're going to get going. So let's give me 1 second. All right. So again, my name is April Woodcock. I own a digital marketing agency here in Voluntown, Connecticut called Touching Clients. I've been in business almost 20 years, working with small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and nonprofits, helping them with their digital landscape. I'm also an authorized local expert with Constant Contact, and part of their elite program. I have been doing trainings on behalf of Constant Contact for almost as long as I've been in business, about 17 years. So it's a product that I love, and I also have huge love for email marketing and all of the things that go with it for your business. So today, some of the things we're going to cover is we'll talk a little bit about how nonprofits can kind of intermix social media, email, and text marketing. And really, the goal is obviously for donations at the end of the day, and kind of getting people into their funnel and to their donor customer journey. We'll talk a little bit about how to harness the strengths of those channels and how to create an overall great experience, because it is about the wow experience that we are giving, and then questions and answers at the end. Again, please feel free to drop questions in the chat. I promise I will answer them at the end. All right, so kind of thinking about the ultimate marketing goal. Obviously, our goal as nonprofits is we want to send the right message. We want to make sure that we're targeting the right people, and also timing. Timing can play into the factor of sending the right message. And then, are we using the right channels to drive the action that we need for our organization? So 86% of the world's population owns a smartphone. That is definitely, society has changed. I was actually reading an article last night, as a matter of fact, about just kind of taking a step back from we're so digitally connected, which is for business owners and marketers and organizations that bodes well for us to getting in front of other people. But as society, that's a whole nother thing. But in 2023, the current number of smartphone users was 6.92 billion. It's a fascinating statistic, but people have, the world's population, no matter where they are, has a smartphone and has access to communication definitely more readily. More searches are done on mobile phones now, when people are looking for information, as well as when you are sending email. When you look at the statistics and even like web traffic to your websites, mobile phones is definitely getting higher and higher because we're so connected. People are on their smartphones all the time. Consumers are most likely to be influenced to buy via email, text messages, and social media. So email marketing, what I love is that it is still the number one preferred communication choice. So people are going to give you their email before they give you anything else. And now more and more, will give you their phone number, second step, right? And social media is, it's one of those things where we're working on rented real estate, and it takes a little bit longer for our return on investment to reach audiences and get the messaging, and also get them into kind of our donor life cycle, so to speak. So each channel is going to tell a different story, but the same story in a different way. And the goal is obviously engagement, whether it's your email communication, your social media, or your text messaging, your SMS marketing campaigns. The goal is to get engagement and conversations, because the more that you have engagement in your digital strategy, and where you're putting out your content marketing, the more likely more people are going to see it, and the more likely they're going to start to know, like, and trust your organization, and have that connection with you to raise their hand and say, yes, I want to donate to you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about kind of the social media. So we're going to practice the party principle, so to speak. Social, it's the big party. It's the party where everybody's at. It's kind of one of those things where people are on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're scrolling TikToks, they're on YouTube, where email is the after party. It's kind of the, once they've come to the big party, they've seen what you can do. The after party means that they've raised their hand and they've connected with you. And then the VIP party is really to collect those phone numbers and get people to a kind of a direct delivery, not only their email, but to their cell phone, where people are spending most of their time. And the goal is really to kind of harness those strengths. So on social media, you're sharing beyond your emails. So you're sharing with your friends, you're sharing with your family. The goal is engagement on social media, because the more that people converse with you. So for example, and I say this from a perspective of content marketing on social media, the best thing that nonprofit organizations can do is use photos of what you're doing, right? Telling your story about how you're helping people in your nonprofit, whether you're helping veterans, or maybe you're helping children, or maybe you're helping animals. Telling those stories with those visuals is going to create that engagement. And that engagement, what it does is, so for example, if you have, 1,000 fans, 1,000 followers, realistically, if you don't have a lot of engagement, you're lucky if 1% is even seeing that conversation. So really looking at that content marketing plan, the goal is to get people to engage, ask questions. It also will help you to reach a new audience, because when people are engaged, they're more likely to share your messaging, and then they're going to share it and pass it on. Whereas, I think from a social media engagement perspective, it's still a lot of work, but I do feel like, because what nonprofits do, and it's feel good things. It might not feel good what unfortunately that you're helping homeless veterans. That's terrible, right? That we have veterans that are homeless. But what you're doing and putting forward and bringing awareness, that feels good to people, and people want to share that messaging. Email is going to help you reach your audience directly. This is where they've said, yes, I want to learn more, or I'm going to donate, and I'm going to share my email address with you. And when they share their email address, that's a direct hit to their inbox, right? So you can message them. Where on social media, you have all these followers, but if, Facebook got upset and shut down your page, how are you going to connect with them? So in your marketing strategy, you always want to be thinking, like, again, social media is the big party, but your goal is to get them to the after party and collect those email addresses. It also allows you to give more messaging. It also gives more details of what your organization is about, how you help people, because I'm sure as a nonprofit, you guys wear many hats and you offer many services. So the goal is to be able to get somebody in maybe for one service that you offer, making a donation about something, but educate them on and get them to be a volunteer. Get them to be a corporate sponsor, have them partner with an event. So that's where email is going to help with that. And then SMS it's really short messaging. It's usually time sensitive, which is great for campaigns that you might be running. So like Giving Tuesday, for example, I'm going to use that as because that's kind of the popular day of collecting donations, although you need to do it every day, all year long. But you can have a short message, create some urgency around that. And it's also, it's a timely promotion. So these are things that you can do where you maybe are running a promotion campaign for, you might have a spring event that you're a gala where you're selling tickets, or a comedy show. You're selling tickets to get people in the door and you really want to sell out of those tickets. SMS can help create that urgency around that. So let's talk a little bit more about social media for engagement. So at the end of the day, word of mouth happens online, right? So again, so I'm a dog person. I love dogs. I definitely go down kind of on the social media around the rabbit hole of dogs, people helping dogs. I'm now like been watching these drone stories of people helping in these nonprofits finding dogs, and that's something that I would love to share and tell people about. If I'm following a dog, Clementine, right? So this is something where I have donated to Clementine and I've also shared Clementine on my social media. So word of mouth marketing happens on social media much, like where you're putting out real images of things that are happening, you're likely to have them share with others. And that is your goal of social media. So, kind of thinking about the overall usage of social media and kind of matching the platform, one of the things you want to consider is Facebook. Facebook has a large reach. It's usually the age demographic is 35 and over. And it has, there's a couple billion users. It is a worldwide organization, worldwide. So that's another thing. So some of nonprofits have a worldwide touch, right? So there's a large reach on Facebook. Instagram is going to be all about the visual story. You are going to make sure that you are using Canva if you don't already do. It's one of my favorite tools, and they have um, a nonprofit rate, and I actually think you might even get it for free as a nonprofit. But Canva is a great way for you to put a polished, professional branding story on your business with Instagram. You can create high quality visuals that are telling the story. Pinterest is great because it's the second largest social media channel driving traffic to websites. So it's a place where you can have visuals with tips and ideas and sharing about things that you do in your organization. LinkedIn is definitely that professional network. That's a great place to network for your corporate sponsors and your partnerships as an organization. X is going to be public news and what's happening now. It's very quick content. It decays pretty quickly. And what I mean by that is if I post on Facebook and somebody makes a comment, if you comment back within a few hours, you're fine. On X, if you comment and it's not within a short amount of time, people have moved on. It's a very fast moving site. And then YouTube is a great place to tell your story in video. And what's nice about a YouTube video is that you can take that and you can edit it down so you can create stories and reels and repurpose your content across all of these other channels and share. It's a great way to share educational content. It's a great way to share the stories. It's a great way to share about volunteers in your organization. Also, your mission. What is your mission? That is a great thing. Video makes it human. We live in a world where we don't need to necessarily touch and feel things. Visuals tell the story, so people are more likely to engage with you. Now, the only thing that I would caution you on when you're thinking about video, because and this also comes, and I will say just a little bit of a personal opinion, AI has really helped with being able to come up with ideas to help us to create social media content and content a little bit quicker. However, you want to just make sure that you are humanizing it, that you're taking what you need out of that and making it your own in your own voice. And the other thing, the reason that I'm bringing that up is more and more I'm seeing AI videos. Sometimes people can't tell the difference, but I can tell you that you want to make sure when you're using your video, and this again comes down to my personal kind of belief system a little bit. I think you telling the video story with your own video and real video is going to set the precedent. I'd encourage you to try to avoid AI video for your YouTube videos telling your story or your case studies about people that you've served. So when you are thinking about social media, your goal is kind of to meet 3 goals. Spend 5 minutes, drive awareness. So top of mind awareness about your brand. You want to make sure that if somebody goes to your website, that they're on your social media, that you look the same, and that when they share it, your logo's there, your branding's there. Driving awareness is huge. And driving awareness, not only with brand, but your mission, telling the story, telling people about all the things that you do and the good that you're sharing on the world, and that how awesome you are about helping others. Customer service. Social media is a great customer service tool. It allows people to communicate with you 24/7. And they also have tools that can connect to your website that come from like a Facebook chat. You can actually have it so it works. It will come into the chat on your website. There's lots of different things that you can do, but it's a great tool for providing customer service. Whereas if you think about it, sometimes um, somebody might have something, they might decide whether or not they're going to put a contact. Social media allows us to communicate all the time with our clients and be present. And the goal is obviously to get them to take action. So you're going to have clickable links on social media channels. So like on Facebook, they have those campaigns where somebody might have a birthday campaign and encouraging them to donate to your organization. There's lots of ways. And I know kind of in the nonprofit world, there's also a lot of crowdsourcing tools that you use. So for example, a tool that I've used recently was Classy, and Classy has crowdsourcing, but it connects into your Facebook page so you can really drive revenue. So there's lots of tools, and that's where social media can help spread the word. So repurposing content is huge. It's going to save you time. So for example, if you did a YouTube video about your current campaign and maybe you are talking about veteran suicide prevention, right? So you're just bringing awareness about kind of the statistics and also the things that your organization does to help them. So you're bringing awareness. You can take that content, maybe it's a YouTube video, and repurpose that. You can include that in your email. You can include that. A great way to create a blog from that and put it on your website. And the goal, obviously, when you're sending an email, if you can drive people back to your website, that's a great thing because it's generating traffic. It's helping with search engine optimization. The other thing too is sharing information that people have talked about with your organization. So for example, if you have a partner that came in and volunteered, they posted it on their social, share it to your page. That's a great way to repurpose content. It's also a great way to connect with your partners and give them credit for all the things that they're doing, bringing them awareness. It's a little bit of a buddy system in terms of marketing. The next thing I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is email and building the relationship. So the one thing that you need to kind of get the mindset is the money is in the list. So social media is great for kind of getting the awareness out there, starting to direct traffic to where you need them to go to volunteer, to donate. But email is kind of the next, again, it's the after party. It's the, I've raised my hand, I'm now on your list. And your goal as an organization should to be collecting email addresses at every touch point. So there should be a sign up in all of your social profiles. If you're at an event, you want to make it easy for you to collect email addresses because the email is a direct to their inbox. It's not maybe they're on Facebook today and they're seeing your post. It is in their inbox. And it's a great way to build those relationships. So the big thing is you just have to ask. The worst people can say is no or not fill out a form. So in person, if people come into your organization, you want to start thinking about systems where you can collect an email address. Maybe it's on an iPad where you have a direct link to a form and they can just add their first name and email is a great place to start. You don't necessarily need all these required fields. You're building the relationship, right? So people are likely, they'll hand you their first name and their email address. Less is more. On the phone, ask. If you're at events, so if you're at a table promoting your organization, make sure to get email addresses. Definitely anywhere you touch in print. So it could be business cards, it could be flyers, it could be direct mail campaigns. QR codes are great for that because you can create a QR code that's going to send a direct link to a sign up form. And then obviously online, everywhere that your organization is online, again, in those social profiles, your website, ask for it, have a pop-up, your social media channels, in your email signature. When you're sending an email, you can ask for sign up for our weekly email, sign up for get a copy, sign up for our blogs, donate here. You can have clickable links in your email signature that's going to help drive those email signups. And then landing pages. So if you have a landing page that's all about a campaign that you're doing, so again, if it's about suicide awareness and you're collecting donations, that's a great way to collect email addresses. And it's all about kind of taking those email addresses and then fostering the relationship, right? So you want to make sure that you're giving them enough information when you're creating your form. So whatever your headline is. So this example here, Hearts and Tails, get our comprehensive guide to adopting. So their goal is to get adopters into the system, right? So this campaign. But keep it simple. First name, last name, email. The only required element is the email address. First name if they don't want to, last name they don't have to. And I honestly would even just do first name. And the reason I say first name is because when you send an email, you can personalize it. From an email service provider, you have a merge tag and it's like, hi, Dawn, and it will merge to whatever the first name is. You definitely want to set the expectations and be clear of how often you're sending your email marketing. Is it weekly? Is it biweekly? Is it monthly? How often are they going to get communications? And maybe it's monthly with periodic event notices, upcoming events, and fundraising campaigns. You definitely want to have a privacy policy. The privacy policy is pretty simple. The good news is that like within Constant Contact and other email service providers, they have a general one, but obviously your organization might have one that you have on your website because typically you have a privacy. It's just about selling information. You're not selling their data. You're not selling their email addresses. And you just want to make it clear. Now, typically when you're running an SMS where you're trying to collect phone numbers, you will collect an email address and a phone number. That's kind of part of the collection of the data. So just keep that in mind. And this form here is about this example is about showing about text marketing here. So if I were to not collect a phone number, I would just have email address because once you add the mobile number, it becomes a text marketing campaign. It becomes a required field. So you just need to keep that in mind. So, kind of what to say and how to say it. So, you think about it from the headline perspective. What's the goal you're trying to accomplish by people signing up for that form? Why should they care? Well, if it's a donation, so this example, Massachusetts Youth in Action donation drive. Do you have any of these? And it's talking about we're in need of trash bags, all-purpose cleaners, sponges, window cleaner, and how the reader can get involved. So they can either get involved by dropping it off, or they probably can make a donation as well instead. And a lot of times, especially when it's online, people are more likely to make a donation. Some people will drop it off, or they'll send it via Amazon. But you just want to make sure that your headline is clear, your message body, why they should care, and the call to action of how to get involved is very clear. Less is more, though, friends. So just keep that in mind when you're creating content for a call to action for people to sign up. You do want to make sure that you're giving them the specific information of what they need to know and how to take action, but it doesn't need to be a long book. So, how often should you send an email? This becomes a question that I get asked a lot. And really, it does depend. It depends on your organization. It depends on how often you're sending them. But this is the thing that you want to consider. So, kind of unilaterally, this is like a very general statistic. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday between 10 and 2, they say is a good time to send. Why? Because people, if you have a work email address, they're usually at their desk. It's not after hours, Mondays. Some people have Mondays off, Fridays, weekends. But it really comes down to your audience. So that's where you want to consider your audience, how you set the expectations when they signed up. Did you tell them it was going to be weekly? Did you tell them it was Tuesdays? The goal is you definitely want to be sending one email campaign at least monthly. I would encourage you to get in a consistent habit. And I also understand as nonprofits that, again, you wear many hats and that one position wears a lot of hats. So once a week might not be feasible, but maybe bi-weekly, because again, email is in their inbox in front of them, right? So you've already kind of passed are they seeing this in the algorithm on social media? It's in the inbox. And then not only that, it's, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Sending once a month. So it's in their inbox. And the other thing too is you can train them a little bit. So if you're going to send your email Sunday at 11 a.m., maybe that's not the best day, but you'll be able to start to see that with analytics. The other thing is that set yourself up for success in your organization. Some people get excited and say, I can do this weekly, but it's something where you want to be consistent. Consistency is going to matter in getting your email opened. So I'd encourage you to definitely kind of consider your time and frequency of how you're going to send it, what works for you too, because you will train your audience. So promotional emails are like an announcement. You have an event going on, a reminder to an event, a last chance. That's something where it would be a promotional campaign. You can also make automated campaigns when somebody comes into your email list. You could create a welcome campaign where it's a series of maybe 3 emails, and they're timed out, and it's about telling them about your organization. So that form where I showed you with the kind of download your adoption guide, that for pets, that would be a great small automated campaign where somebody signed up. They wanted the guide for adoption. And then there was a series of maybe 3 or 4 emails that are timed over a course of a week, telling them, kind of following up on some of the guide that's in, so, before you adopt, these are the things. You want to make sure you interview a vet, whatever's in the guide. And it kind of reinforces that. The other thing about kind of those automated campaigns, it helps kind of deliver good customer service, right? So it helps kind of warm the relationship a little bit further. All right, so let's talk a little bit about text messaging. So sending text, when you send your text message, there's always an option to opt out. And I should say that on an email campaign too, when you're using an email service provider, Constant Contact and other email service providers have that unsubscribe on the email directly. So it gives you the ability to opt out. The other thing too on text messaging, you really need to be mindful of the times that you're sending it. You want to make sure that you're only sending it between 8 and 9. And honestly, I wouldn't even send it as late as 9. That's kind of the industry of what they're saying statistically, but you want to find a good time that's going to resonate with your audience. And definitely don't rely on area codes for send time, because here's the thing. People sign up and they could be in different time zones. So you want to make sure that you're finding a time zone that's, if somebody's in the you most likely would just be sending a US and Canada. They do have Constant Contacts. Text messaging does not go to the UK. They do have systems that do, but ours doesn't in particular. So in the US, but you still have what you have: Eastern time zone, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. So you have 4 time zones. So you really want to find kind of the caveat time where it's not going to be too late for Eastern Standard, but it's late enough for Pacific Standard. So those are things to consider about SMS messaging. The other thing too is you want to just make sure that you are kind of following good practices. Identify yourself. So this example, Hearts and Tails Animal Rescue. So people know who it is. You want to definitely stay timely and relevant, be consistent. You could send a text message once a month. That's more than enough to get started. Or you could send one once a week. You definitely want to remember that it's 160 characters. So your messaging has to go into that time frame. So like this example here, Hearts and Tails Rescue, Dallas. We rescued 10 pups in need of veterinary care. Are you able to help? So very simple message saying, hey, we need donations. Can you help these 10 pups? So that's where text messaging, you have to be a little bit more creative with your messaging, but very specific, right? Because you want people to take action for whatever you're doing. Or maybe it's just an event. And I say it's not just an event, but maybe it's an event that you're hosting where they can buy tickets. So you just want to make sure that it has enough information to be clear. Now, keep in mind, you can also send them to a landing page for more details. So the goal is to get them excited, that fear of missing out, that they're going to take action and go to the next step. So some other tips are you definitely want to be unique, content that can't be found anywhere else. So you don't want to have the same message on your email to the exact same line item, exactly saying the same thing. You want to make sure that it's a little bit different so it stands out. Bring value to them. Also be personable and be conversational. So for example, Hearts and Tails Rescue, Amanda, the 2022 Fox Run is 2 weeks away. So it's personalized message to Amanda. Register now to get a free t-shirt. So maybe you're having a run. This is a great way to get people engaged. Measure the impact of your text. So you want to see your list growth. Analytics are important in everything you do. So from social media to email marketing to SMS, your analytics are going to help you to drive better decisions on the content delivery that you're doing, your messaging, and kind of if people clicked and took action, also on the timing. So you want to make sure that your list is growing, that it's not decreasing significantly every time you send out a text, where they clicked, if they are clicking on your link, and how many of those clicks turned into a conversion. So kind of on the back end of that customer journey, there's things that you need to make sure that are in place for tracking that I'm not really going to get into today. But the nice thing is that when you're using email marketing and when you're using text messaging and social media, you can see the higher level. So I can see maybe they clicked to your landing page, but from your landing page, you're going to have to create a thank you page to track that conversion. But that also entails a little bit with Google Analytics. So, but you definitely want to pay attention to that and set yourself up for success. Whatever tool that you decide to use, make sure that you set it up so it is tracking the metrics that you need, so you know that the campaign is working or it's not working. Because if you're not monitoring your analytics, you could be spinning your wheels and wasting money and time and energy on something that's not going to be fruitful for you. So kind of thinking about using using your channels in concert together, right? So you have social, you have email, and you have text. So here is kind of an example from social media. You can create a poll. Do you currently use text marketing for your small business? Then your email could be about a webinar that you're hosting and educating people more about SMS marketing. And then your text could be a reminder that the webinar is today. So they kind of they build on one another. So they're in concert with each other. And that's a great way to kind of have these tools work together. If you think about it from, again, social media is the party. Email is the after party. So it's the next step. They've come into your funnel, essentially your donor funnel. And then text messaging is the VIP. Now you're like into their phone, and you're going to use that obviously respectfully, but you're going to, it's another way to communicate with your audience. It also, at the end of the day, the goal is to increase the word of mouth marketing for your business, right? So you kind of have your business, and your goal is to drive social media visibility, which is going to help increase your overall exposure, right? And the goal is to connect with new people, new followers, and then they're going to take the next step. They're going to say yes to your email. They're going to engage with you. Your goal as a business owner, an organization, executive director, person leading your organization, is making sure that you're providing wow experience. So what I mean by that, I've seen so many organizations that will collect an email address, or they'll post on social media and people are engaging and they're not commenting, or they're not emailing consistently. And that's something that you want to make sure when you set your systems up. It's all about systems. And unfortunately, it does take a little bit of time in the startup, but the goal is once they're set up and they're solid, you're just going to be doing tweaking over time. And obviously every email, you have to create an email, right? But at the end of the day, you've already have the momentum, you have the template created, you're just filling in some of the content. And with email marketing and kind of building on that, it helps retain people when you're consistent, because you're staying in front of them, top of mind awareness. And that's going to help increase your awareness overall, right? So from social media, it's kind of social media from the top of the funnel where they're prospects, you're warming them. The goal is to get them to raise their hand into your email. And then once they're in your email, you want to wow them with customer service and continue to engage them with retention. So kind of looking at more of a nonprofit level, kind of driving action. So you have your organization. The goal is to activity for donations, getting people volunteering, awareness. And then for growth, you want to look at automating processes, referrals. So asking for referrals, asking people to share your content, asking people to share with their friends. And then obviously the goal is to grow your list and then continue down that pathway with, again, nurturing from when they sign up. And then at the end of the day, it's always great to check in with your audience, send a survey, ask a question. Definitely get feedback on things. Are you, about the events that you're having, if they enjoyed it, things like that. That's going to also, when people feel like they're being valued, it's going to help retain them also overall. So, how can we best engage with customers? Social media again is for awareness engagement. So it's about sharing those stories, making it that it is human, that you're not just a name with a logo, that you are and you're not just posting text content and stock photos, that you are telling your stories, that people can connect, that human connection. Um, Email is going to help foster that relationship. It's going to take it to the next level. And then text messaging is great for those unique things. So your events, maybe a donor campaign, maybe you're selling tickets to your running event. They're also very timely and they're very strategic. So it's something where, I've heard from a lot of business owners and organizations, well, SMS feels so like, I don't like it. Some people do, and they have to opt in. So you have to remember that. So it's another way to get people to opt in to your list. So if they prefer SMS over an email, then great. You still have them in your funnel because they've had to give you your information. So, and there's always an unsubscribe on both of those communications, whether it be email or SMS. So I'd encourage you to think about expanding into the SMS realm if you haven't, and use it to strengthen your relationships and also kind of upsell things that kind of drive that next step in selling or requesting donations or selling tickets. So kind of looking overall, social media, focus your time. It's unlikely you can be on all social channels. So you want to pick the right social media channel. I do encourage you to save your spot on all of the social media channels and get your custom URLs, but post in one image there if you're not using it. So for example, if you're not using X, just have your account there and tell people where you're at. Have a pinned post and tell people, we spend most of our time on Facebook and a link to there. You definitely want to be engaging with your audience. So pick a time every day where you're kind of going through, looking at people that might have tagged you, sharing their information. If people are commenting, get involved in the conversation, and always encourage people to go back to your website, connect with you on email, sign up for email, join your text list, but encourage people. So you may have text that might not have links, but then you want to think about driving traffic back to your website, and your website can have your email sign up, or maybe you have a landing page with asking them for their SMS. In email, you want to use email for a little bit longer communications, definitely more information. So for example, if you have a blog post teaser on social, maybe it's a little bit more in depth on email. It's not the whole blog. You're driving them to your traffic. Plus you have more space. So like on social media, you're posting about one piece of content, where email, you might have 2 or 3 pieces of content in your email. Think about automating your welcome emails. Think about automating emails so if somebody inquires about a service and maybe somebody's reaching out for service, this isn't all about necessarily donations. In email, you can communicate with people that are using your services. If they've completed a contact form on your website about veteran support services, that you have an automated sequence that's telling them a little bit more about their program while they're waiting to hear back or get an appointment to see somebody. Definitely encourage subscribers to join you in anywhere in kind of your funnel. So SMS, email, wherever your touch points are that you're touching your audience, you should always be looking to ask for at least an email address, if not a phone number, for SMS marketing. That is where you're going to take the relationship to the next level. Text marketing efforts. So you definitely want to text for timely promotions and communications. So this is something where you don't have to be texting every day. Obviously this is something where you, in your digital strategy, can figure out a way to help with events, help with donation campaigns. Keep in mind 160 characters, so it's very specific. And then you can also encourage text subscribers to join you, you can have them join on a landing page. You can, again, have it maybe in one of your social profiles. And I would A/B test. So like maybe on your LinkedIn business page, your call to action of your link is to join your SMS with SMS, so their phone number, where on Facebook, they're joining with an email, and just see what the difference is. Or test it for a month on LinkedIn and then test it for a month on email on LinkedIn, and kind of see where people are interested and see the growth of your list and track that. And because, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a constant contact presentation. So Constant Contact has a lot to offer. It's a great small business nonprofit tool. The one thing that I can tell you that has kept me as a partner with Constant Contact is the customer service. If you're stuck, I don't stay stuck for very long. I ask for help. Their chat is great. Their customer service is great. But they also offer email marketing. They offer survey tools, social media posting, landing pages, event management, where you can also collect money. You can collect money for tickets if you're selling for an event. It also has social media and Google Ads support as well. And then it has a whole AI placement. All right. So again, my name is April Woodcock, and I'm glad to share with you about social email, and SMS. Constant Contact does offer a free trial if you scan this code. And if you decide that Constant Contact is a good fit for you, you use the code 330P and you get 30% off 3 months. I do appreciate your time. Let me see if there's any questions here. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm also going to drop in kind of my email here. You're welcome to email me with any questions after today's presentation. And I will also drop in my, I'll drop in the Constant Contact, sign up, and as well as the code. Let me, 1 second. All right. There is the link, and here is the code, 330P. Okay. All right. Oh, I don't know. I might have to use a shortener. Did it not? Give me 1 second here. It's really long. 1 second. I'll drop this in. Okay. It's I don't know why it did that. So it's did it in a very long thing, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, friends. So let's see. All right. This one is better. Constant Contact link is much shorter. So, all right. All right, my friends. Well, it was great to see you today. And I look forward to seeing you again. You're always welcome to stop by my website at touchingclients.com and touchingclients.com, and also email me at awoodcock@touchingclients.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I wish you the best of success, and I'm so glad that you stopped by today. I'll look forward to seeing you guys again soon.